The boy touches the glass with trembling fingers and licks his dry lips. I don't take alcohol very well, sir, he tries to justify himself, muttering as he watches the glare of neon light play on the surface of the spiced drink. I hardly drink. I'm not sure I'll be okay. Oh, baby, don't worry, the man grins, brushing Jungkook's cheek with his free hand and gently stroking his cheekbones. I'll take care of you. Jungkook nods, swallowing nervously, and is already trying to take the glass, pulling it slightly towards him, when the man laughs softly and shakes his head. No, he says in a calm tone. First, his fingers slide down, clasping the chin, and lifting it up. You look into my eyes. Jungkook exhales noisily, blinking, and the man notices the shadow of long eyelashes slipping across his cheeks for a fraction of a second. Yes, sir, Jungkook nods as they re-establish eye contact. Second, Mr. Kim's smirk widens a little. I'll get you drunk myself. Jungkook clears his throat. Yes, sir. Third, Taehyung licks his bright pinkish coral lips, leaning in close to his ear. Just relax, alright? We know that it can be good for both of us. Don't think of it as work, baby. He hears a noisy exhalation and the smirk involuntarily stretches wider, and the next second Taehyung squeezes his fingers a little tighter on his chin, searing his earlobe with hot breath. Think of it as a pleasure. Jungkook flinches, feeling his voice and burning breath send goosebumps through his skin. Yes, sir, Taehyung nods in satisfaction as he pulls away and looks into his eyes again. Jungkook doesn't look away, feeling his cheeks instantly turn pink under the man's pressure, and Taehyung brings the rim of the glass to his lips. Will you open up for me? Jungkook, the man asks ambiguously, licking his own lips again, and Jungkook nods timidly, utterly uncertain. He opens his thin lips and Taehyung grins, tilting his glass slightly. He watches as the clear crystal outlines his lower lip, twists it slightly, and enjoys Jungkook waiting for the next move with a trembling heart. The man tilts the glass a little more, watching closely as the liquid moves slowly towards the boy's lips. He looks up quickly, noticing how Jungkook is still staring into his eyes, and it makes his insides clench in a pleasant spasm. He watches again as the alcohol disappears into Jungkook's mouth, burning the tip of his tongue, and nods contentedly as he puts the glass back on the table somewhere behind him. Watching the boy wince at the unfamiliar tart taste, it brings out another smile. Okay, the man takes a step back, looking Jungkook up and down. We'll start the same way we always do. I want you to dance. Be loose. Start getting undressed. Right now, Jungkook asks hesitantly as he watches the man walk around him to pour some alcohol into a clean glass for himself. Taehyung deals with it quickly, and then moves to the chair, lazily sipping whiskey from expensive crystal. Yes. Start now. He drops into a chair, leaning back. Dance for me, baby. Jungkook listens to the slow, deep music that they both barely noticed before, and tries to catch the rhythm. Almost imperceptible, and he closes his eyes. Jungkook exhales. Don't thought of it as work. A man's voice flashes through his head, making his throat tighten in incomprehensible excitement. I enjoy it too, Jungkook reminds himself, trying not to blush as he thinks of all the times he's come loud and cheeky on a man's thighs without expecting it. He begins to move a little more confidently, catching on himself a satisfied and too interested look of a man. Not on himself, he thinks. On his body. Jungkook bites his lip, feeling an unfamiliar weight in his head. Perhaps alcohol, he thinks, since he never knew how to drink it. Jungkook continues to dance and waste with his hands, and slowly unbuttons his light-colored jacket, under which there is nothing else. He exhales noisily, pushing back the bangs that fall over his eyes, and looks at the man from under it. "Take it off," Taehyung nods, greedily watching his every move, and Jungkook feels his throat burn from the alcohol he's drunk. The boy slowly pulls the jacket off, letting the silk lining slide down his arms until it falls to the floor. He moves, arches his spine and shows off a toned but too thin body, showing Mr. Kim all his muscles and curves. The man claps his hands, and Jungkook, ignoring his pounding heart, slowly, almost cat-like, moves towards him. "Stop," the man commands, causing Jungkook to freeze almost the second he's standing right in front of the man. He can almost feel their knees touching. "Turn around," Taehyung nods curtly, so Jungkook obeys. He turns around, feeling too embarrassed, as if he's standing in front of him for the very first time. "Now I want you to take off your trousers. Slowly, without dancing, just take them off and show me all of you, baby," the boy freezes. He feels an exciting flutter in his stomach, a slight dizziness in the way his knees suddenly tremble. "Yes, sir, good boy." He slowly pulls them down. Taehyung watches as the fabric slides around his down, falling to the floor. Jungkook stands motionless with his trousers thrown off, turning his head only slightly to look over his shoulder. And the man's gaze is not studying his face at all. "I like it so much," Taehyung whispers, almost spellbound, smirking, and finally looks up. "Your body, baby. I like your body." Jungkook is still silent. He just swallows, wetting his suddenly dry throat, and still looks at him, waiting for what will happen next. "It's not at all the way it usually is." Taehyung rises to his feet, at the same time wrapping his arms around the boy's head. Jungkook feels the man's fingers digging hard into the skin. "That night I want us to be in the bed," he whispers low, leaning into the boy's ear and biting the lobe, causing a quiet, noisy exhalation. "What?" "But Mr. Kim, the bed." He smiles as he removes his hands, stroking the pale skin, and instead wraps them too lightly around the slender boy's wrist. He pulls Jungkook with him deep into the VIP room, where under the translucent canopy and neon rose-red light, everything looks like from the Jungkook never intended to be the hero of. "Don't worry," the man says quietly, leading him off after him. "There's a new bedding for us. Everything is clear." "I don't," Jungkook stammers. "Mr. Kim, I don't care. I thought we were talking about touching and not." "There will only be touches, Jungkook," the man chuckles, turning around to give him a darkened look of contentment. "Everything is just as I promised. I always respect the terms of the deals." "Glad to hear it," the boy nods softly, still trembling inside. He's too in every way disgustingly in front of a man who has been buying his own pleasure for too many nights, and Jungkook is ashamed to admit that he has never been more turned on than in those moments when a man forces this side of him to open. Taehyung leads him to the edge of the bed. Gently pulls on the arm, forcing the boy to sit right in the middle. "Good," the man begins, licking his lips as he examines him. "It's the first time, so let's get some details out, shall we?" He lets out a chuckle as he notices how Jungkook is still embarrassed in front of him. The man unbuttons his own jacket without taking his eyes off the boy. "The first thing you should know is that I really enjoy touching you. And I'm going to do this for a long, long time." Jungkook remains silent, looking up at him and Taehyung's eyes. "First thing point two," he grins, shaking his head. You have to answer me. I do not like when you are silent. I need to know that we hear each other. Ah yes, sir, well done. Second, he takes off his jacket, throwing it back in the chair behind him, and turns back to Jungkook. I like to be bossy, obviously runs through Jungkook's mind, but he just lowers his embarrassed gaze without saying anything. I prefer dominance, the man explains. It's not that I care too much about your opinion on this, but I want you to know it anyway. You must understand what is going to happen. Must understand that it is. He unbuttons the sleeves of his shirt, rolling them up to his elbows in a measured manner. It is not violence. I don't like violence and it will never be one. We only do what you agreed to, right? You can stop this at any time and withdraw from the contract. Jungkook is silent, swallowing the lump in his throat, but remembering another rule, he quickly corrects himself. Yes, sir, that's where the next point comes from. He moves on to the sleeve on his other arm. Stop word. It's usually used during, but given that everything that's going on right now is obviously new to you, I think we should consider it. Because, once again, I'm not going to turn this into violence and do something against your will. I understand, sir. Jungkook nods obediently, biting the inside of his cheek. Stop word. It's something from, right? He's not sure. But it all seems a bit intimidating. What is Mr. Kim even going to do with him?